3, 2, 1, go. That was the best way to sync a video ever. What's up everybody, MokiF1 here, and today we're going to be discussing the US Grand Prix, Texas Grand Prix, sorry. Is it Austin Grand Prix? Texas? I don't even know. Anyways, so I'm just doing the gameplay as a sort of background thing. I'll try and think of something more entertaining than just gameplay in the background, but we're going to be driving around Circuit of the Americas, talking about the most recent Grand Prix, so let's just hop into the reactions. Oh my god, how did Ferrari get that fast? And two, can I be that fast at Coda? I don't think so. I am terrible at this track, but it was just insane to see how fast the Ferraris were this weekend. I had no idea they were going to come with that much firepower. I knew they were going to be good, but geez, I did not think they would, like I thought Charles would get a podium, but I did not think he would just cream it like Verstappen style. That was unbelievable, and there's not really much to say about Leclerc's domination. I mean, he was just in clearly the fastest car, clearly one of the fastest drivers, so there you go, he just ran off with the race. But I do have to give flowers to Carlos Sainz. Throughout the weekend, his pace was impeccable, on par with Charles all the way, through qualifying, through sprint, through the race, everything. Just a little bit off his pace, but I gotta say, he really put it together this weekend, and I loved his aggression in the sprint as well. Obviously in the race, he was so fast, he didn't really need to be that aggressive, but gotta give him his flowers. I really underrated him for this weekend. I should have put him in the top 5, to be honest. He really showed us what for this weekend. So, McLaren, though, what happened? Apparently they had some upgrades, but it just did not work for this track. Now this is a track that they admit they're not too great at. These sort of like high-speed sweeping tracks, not really their thing. And this is why they were a little slower at Silverstone, for example. Circuit of the Americas is a lot like it. But still, it's really surprising to see how much pace they simply did not have. Even just like on a straightaway, you know, the fight that Norris and Verstappen had, which yes, I will talk about. It was surprising to see they just did not have the pace. Although I was right that Piastri seemed a little bit out of his depth. I mean, still a top 5 finish for him, congrats, but yeah, he just did not have the pace this weekend to really drag the McLaren up at all. Now Haas actually was even better than I expected. It really sucks that Kevin had that little issue where he had to come to the pits and, you know, he lost his points position. They actually definitely 100%. We'll just give them the benefit of just saying they got double points this time because they had double points. Just some stupid thing happened with Kevin's car. He had to clear debris or something, I believe. Just really a shame for him because he was on fire all weekend, and I was actually, in my predictions, I was correct. He is very fast around this circuit, and I think he had an awesome qualifying, awesome Grand Prix, but then just, you know, you get unlucky sometimes, which is really unfortunate. But Hulkenberg, great job from him after a pretty embarrassing mess up in qualifying. I mean, he messed up. He did a me. You know, he pulled it together on the weekend, unlike what I just did. I lost my braking zone because I was trying to think of what to say. But yeah, their pace was excellent, so I'm really looking forward to them in Mexico as well. I'm excited to see if they can pull together a double points finish at Mexico, because it looks like Williams is worse than I was expecting, actually. I thought they were going to do great at this track. It's a very high-speed track. The car loves high speed, but they just simply did not pull together this weekend. Both Alex and Colapinto were just off the pace. They just really weren't top 10 competitors, which was very surprising to see. I thought, like, for sure they'd be top 10 at least, possibly a double points finish, but obviously they can, you know when the skill level of the drivers is very similar and like you're just at the top 10, it's very possible one's in the top 10, one isn't. Think Haas in this case, obviously. Colapinto's great, he did great this weekend, but the only reason he was in the points was because of Kevin Magnussen's unluckiness. So that's more on the Williams car. I'm not saying Colapinto did bad, because Colapinto is showing the sauce. That first stint he had was absolutely amazing. Now it was very, very clear that long first stint strategy, that was the way to go at this circuit. I think McLaren showed that because, you know, their pace wasn't great, but they had a great first stint, both of them, and it really helped them claw back some time. And of course, that's what Colapinto and his, his side of the garage went with, and that was the correct decision. What Alex's strategy was obviously not strategy, and he had, a bit of a tussle here and there on track where Colapinto really didn't. He had pretty free air most of the race, other than when Kevin was hunting him down. But I gotta say, Colapinto pulling off this strategy. Is this his 5th race or 5th or 6th race? I mean, perfection. Absolutely perfected this strategy and got his team the point, even though he only really got the point because, you know, Kevin got unlucky. And Lawson as well did absolutely great. His pace was blazing fast, and I think it's funny. It is exactly like the Colapinto situation. You just get no offense, Daniel Ricciardo, a lesser driver out of that car, and then boom, instantly the car just looks better. Just like what Colapinto is doing with Williams right now, the car just instantly looks better when you have two good drivers in there. And I think also, because Liam really, he was fast, neat and tidy, good battles on track, just really quick. In general, not a lot to say. But what is interesting and is happening to both Williams and VCARB right now, Tsunoda and Albon, they are under pressure right now. Big pressure. Especially Tsunoda with how Red Bull loves to just like plop drivers in and out. And, Helmut Marko, he seems to love new talent, and he's just like, oh, this guy is the future of the team. I actually don't know what he sounds like. But yeah, I thought it was very clear with how both Tsunoda and Albon were driving. They were very, very feisty and aggressive, and it seemed like they were overdriving their cars a little bit. Tsunoda having that spin, Albon having that early contact. I mean, yeah, I think they're just under really, really heavy pressure. I would say Alex more so just because he's a little more crash prone and he's had a little bit more time in Formula 1. So, Williams might see one more season out with him. If Carlos just wipes the floor with him, they might just be like, okay, I see what was going on here. Albon really just did not have any competition. The car's been good all along, and we should just move on from this guy. Not saying that's guaranteed to happen, but these races with Colapinto, I think Albon has really not looked great. I think he needs to get a handle on himself a little bit. Okay, now that we're at this part of the track, you know what's coming. We got to talk about Norris versus Verstappen, and what I think about Norris getting the penalty, Max's driving style while defending. So let's talk about it, because there's a lot of different layers here. So let's get into it. What did both drivers do? So Norris is on this side. He's trying to overtake from the outside because Max is allowed to move once before braking, and so Max likes to go right in here, and this is perfect. And let me show you why. So if Max goes in here, what he has to do this if he wants to make the corner, brake really, really hard, turn in tight, but the car will always go wide here. So if you have, for instance, a Lando Norris right here, maybe he wouldn't be on the curbs like this, but if you have a Lando Norris trying to come in on the outside, you're on the inside there, you're starting to push out wide, Lando's over here, you're going to push him off, which he did. So as far as defending this corner at Circuit of the Americas, there's really no other way to do this. This is how you defend right here. Because what's Lando supposed to do? And there's also a few other aspects to defending like this, because there's no gravel over here. So that means you can push Norris off, and Norris gets to continue. So that's exactly what happened. Norris continued, but since he gets more speed, since there's obviously no gravel here, he's able to overtake Verstappen. But of course, he gained a position off the track. The stewards aren't going to like that, and they didn't. So this opens up another dialogue. Why didn't Norris just give the position back immediately? It was pretty clear eventually he was going to get past Verstappen, especially because this defensive line right here, it is great. It is wonderful for defending, but it's hard on your tires because you do a lot of turning. So all Norris had to do, in my opinion, was just give the position back and keep fighting. Because Verstappen, if he goes for that defensive line every single time, if he's defending every single corner, if he's defending first turn and then was that turn something, I forget. There's so many turns on this circuit. But yeah, if he's aggressively defending on each of the overtake points, then he's going to start losing his tires. Norris had newer tires and 8 laps to go. So all he had to do was just keep trying at it. But there's two aspects here. One, Norris didn't immediately just think, hey, I should just get the position back. It's pretty clear that I can pass this guy. I gotta maybe just do it at turn 1 instead or something. I can pass him. It's clear. And then McLaren as well is telling him, no, just keep driving, bro, whatever. So why? Why not just give the position back? So I think this has been clear throughout this entire season. McLaren don't know how to coach Lando Norris on being like an absolute tippy-top tier driver. They just don't know what to tell him, because any experienced strategist would have just told Lando right away, give the position back for now and just keep fighting. You're going to get this position, just keep fighting. It makes no sense to not give the position back. So there's two things working here. Norris does not have the decisiveness in the moment to be a top-tier driver, and also McLaren just doesn't know how to coach him in the moment to make sure he gets these the podium positions, the winning positions in these high-pressure scenarios where Verstappen's basically forcing you off the track every time you try and pass here, because that's just the nature of the corner. He's allowed to do that. And both Norris, but more importantly, McLaren don't know what to do about it when things get too feisty, for example, when he gets pushed off the track. So this is really, really important to get a handle on. I think they maybe want to hire some more experienced strategists, people who have won races, won championships. They need people like that in the team if they're going to have the pace to be a top tier team, you know? I mean, Ferrari's had their strategy issues for sure, but I mean, Leclerc's been at a top tier team for 5 years now. He has the experience. Norris, this is basically his first season having a properly Grand Prix winning car almost every single weekend. So he needs more experience himself, but he also needs a good voice at McLaren that knows what they're talking about. But alright, enough about all that. Can Ferrari's dominance stretch on? Because let's think about the next 2 races. We've got Mexico, and we've got Interlagos, which I said Mexico, right, but not Interlagos. And they're actually relatively similar to Circuit of the Americas. They don't have a section quite like this at either track, but they do have the fast sweeping corners. Basically only like 2 places to overtake at Mexico. And, multiple overtaking points at Brazil. But it's the same sort of idea. Both tracks have really, really long straightaways, 2 very long straightaways that open up overtake opportunities. And they also have some high-speed corners and some low-speed corners as well, a lot like Circuit of the Americas. So if Ferrari's dominance like this stretches onwards, what's that going to mean for the Constructors' Championship? And what does that mean for Lando Norris's potential championship charge? Which I did just imply probably not possible with his current level of experience. But yeah, I think it's very possible now. If Perez doesn't, really start stepping up, I think it's fully possible that it will end up McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, and the Constructors' Championship. That is unbelievable. And can Leclerc catch Norris in the driver's title? Probably not. That mid-season slump for Ferrari really hurt them. But, I think anything's possible right now because everything just got turned on its head. So this has huge implications moving forward. I think Ferrari's going to be great in Mexico, and because Charles Leclerc is actually quite good at that track as well, as is Carlos Sainz. Verstappen's very good at that track as well. So you got to watch out for him all the time. You have to watch out for Max Verstappen. And the McLarens were actually not too great last season at Mexico, so I'm a little worried for them there. If this little slump is going to continue, because then actually, yeah, maybe Leclerc does have a shot at Norris's second place. But speaking of Ferrari, we have to talk about the man moving to Ferrari next season, Lewis Hamilton. By God, this might be his worst weekend almost ever. I mean, he's had bad weekends before, but this, when like his car is not so great, he's a little pissy, and he makes his mistakes. But this weekend, I mean, the car was okay. It was the 3rd fastest car, possibly 4th fastest, but I would say 3rd overall. But the car had pace, and not only could Hamilton not find any pace, he made an honest-to-God mistake, something we almost never see from him ever in his entire career. Not just like, oh, he has a few offs every season. No. Like, this guy does not make simple mistakes like that. So this was just really depressing to see, frankly. I don't really know what to make of it at the moment as a Lewis Hamilton fan. I don't know. Has he just checked out with Mercedes for the season? Is he just looking forward to moving on, going to Ferrari because he doesn't like the current Mercedes car? Because obviously it suits George more, or is this just more a full-on? Because in my opinion, it's just he's not good at these ground effect cars. That's my opinion. It says a lot about Hamilton's mind state right now, and it's really sad to see, but I think it's also important to note, because I had Hamilton coming P5 just because he's really good at the circuit, but he just couldn't do anything this weekend, and I think this slump is probably going to continue for the rest of the season. I mean, we're going to get another break after the triple header. He's great at Interlagos. Maybe we see a little bit of a resurgence there. He's got tons of fans in Brazil, so maybe we see a resurgence there, but I'm thinking Mexico's not going to be great for him either, and it was just really depressing. So I thought it was worth bringing up, but that is about it for my race reaction to the Texas Grand Prix. And let me know, what is there anything you wished I talked about? Did you like this sort of, I'm just driving around the track to give you guys like a sort of visual while I'm talking? Do you think I talked too much? And just let me know, and thank you very much for watching.